Welcome to this week's episode of the Fairfax Sports Report. I'm your host, Monica Moore, and we have a great episode for you tonight. We were at the Spring Jubilee all weekend, and we have lots of highlights and interviews for you. But before we get to all of that, we want to thank the folks that help make this program possible. First of all, our good friends at CCI Screen Printing. For all of your screen printing needs at 703-978-0257. Don't forget you can get copies of this program and all of the games that we broadcast from throughout the region at www.pressboxvideo.com. We'd like to thank our spring sponsors, Triple Edge Lacrosse, for your endless summer of lacrosse at 703-392-6177. Don't forget to check out our website for scores, highlights, news from around the region, and our video vault feature. You can become a fan of the Fairfax Sports Network on our Facebook page, and please remember to send us news and story ideas from throughout the region at www.fairfaxsportsnetwork.com. Well, as I said, we were at the Spring Jubilee this weekend. Lots of teams to talk about. First of all, congratulations to the West Springfield baseball team. They made it to the state semifinals. They defeated Deep Run in the quarterfinals 10-5 before losing to Menchville 6-4. Also, congratulations to the South County softball team. They also made it to the state semifinals, defeating Atlee 2-1 before losing in the semifinals to Loudoun Valley 2-0. We also have some tennis news, some state champions coming from the region. First of all, Stuart's Justin Shane won the singles title, the first time someone from Stuart has won a state championship since 1983, so a huge honor for Justin. And also Fabi Chilo from Marshall High School won the girls singles title. We have some fond farewells to wish. First of all, Kim Cordell from the Yorktown basketball program will be leaving and moving to Uganda. So fond farewell to her, as well as Craig Davis, the Woodson track and field coach. A couple more congratulations. First of all, to Bernadette Flynn. She is the Edison cross country coach. I talked a lot about her during the cross country season. She is being awarded the Coach of the Year award from the Fairfax County Women in Sports Committee. So congratulations to Coach Flynn. And also congratulations to Michelle Nguyen from South County. She has dominated the tennis scene in the Patriot District for the past few years, going 48-0 during the regular season play. 4 district titles for Michelle. She is going on to play tennis next year at James Madison. All right, well, now it is time for the Triple Edge Lacrosse Report. And as always, I'm delighted to be joined in the studio by Dennis Stewart. Welcome, Coach.
As always, it's a pleasure.
Well,
as we wrap these things up, it's only fitting that the most dominant thing this whole spring has been the weather. the state finals get backed up, games being interrupted. It had effect all season long, and it really was a dominant factor this year.
It really seems like every spring it's difficult, but for whatever reason this spring it seemed like it disrupted more games than it has in years past.
Definitely, no question about that. And now it's finally, we're done. We're gonna have a thunderstorm a day.
Well, when last we left you, we were talking about the Northern Region tournament and the all-region players. Well, now we are finished with the state tournament. So the first thing that we're going to do is take you through the results of the state tournament. Lots of good news for Northern Region fans. There you have the state quarterfinal action, and of course our 3 teams participating in that, Dennis.
Right. Albemarle gave Robinson a tough first half, but pulled away in the second half. Showed just how athletic and how strong that Robinson team is. Battlefield and Broad Run, a high-scoring, exciting game. Woodson and Loudoun Valley. Loudoun Valley, we said that they were a team to look out for. They really handed it to the Cavaliers there. And then Chantilly, easy win over Western Albemarle in the first round.
And we just look at those scores and you just see how Chantilly dominated. Chantilly's had scores like that a lot this year, and then the Robinson-Albemarle score as well. No surprises, they were the 2 dominant teams in the region, that they started off on the right foot in the state quarterfinals.
The Albemarle fans felt pretty strongly about their team, the Lady Patriots, and they really felt like they had a shot at that game. Again, it was very close, nip and tuck in the first half, and Robinson just pulled away in the second half.
So that's what happened in the quarterfinals. We'll now take you into the semifinals. So 2 Northern Region teams playing again. And there, once again, we see a very lopsided score, Dennis. With Robinson, they started off that game on the right foot with a couple of quick goals, and the game was really never in question after they won the first few draw controls.
No, and they ran away with it. And you can see their scoring there. Megan Dunleavy had 5 goals, Rachel Moody 4, Sarah Moody 3, spreading out the goals. And 2 goals for Katie Sistar from Broad Run, but they were never really in that game at all.
It makes it so hard for defenses when there's so many different girls scoring at will, and it definitely appears, looking at the stats from that game, that that's exactly what was going on for Robinson.
Yeah, definitely. There's no question about that. Again, no out of Northern Region teams have always won the games. No Northern Region team has lost a game in the tournament yet, and it looks like it's going to be a while before they do.
So that's what happened with Robinson. Now, Chantilly had a little bit of a closer game, and this Loudoun Valley team, Dennis, you talked about them on the last program. As you said, I mean, they were a team to beat. They were undefeated going into this matchup against Chantilly, and Chantilly comes away with the 5-goal win.
Well, in talking to Coach, they really felt like the key to stopping Loudoun Valley was stopping Shannon Harkey. She's an excellent player. She had 4 goals, but the rest of the team could not keep pace with her. And you look at, again, Chantilly, Katie Stillwell, 8 goals, Jessica Dennis, 2, Liz Dunwoody, 2. Again, a lot of talent on that Chantilly team. They have a lot of different ways of coming at you. They took away Shannon Harkey and rolled right through that 14-9.
So perhaps no surprise for people who followed the Northern Region girls lacrosse scene all season that Robinson and Chantilly were going to end up with their 4th date of the season. As I said, we were there. We have some highlights from the event for you so you can see exactly how it all went down over at Westfield High School. So there you see Chantilly, Dennis, just getting off to a very quick start. Robinson answers, but just didn't have a lot of steam in the first half.
Heather Morrall making a great save. She did all day. Brittany Grau right down the middle with that left hand 2 times in a row.
And here you see Chantilly just scoring at will. The first 7 minutes, Chantilly just scores repeatedly over and over again.
And the thing is, the Kelsey Zink, goalie for Robinson, actually did a pretty good job. It could have been worse.
And Brittany Grau there, after being completely focused on against Loudoun Valley, really having her way with Chantilly when she has a little space. And there you see Katie Stillwell, the athlete that had 8 goals against Loudoun Valley. Katie McHugh there with Heather Morrall with a beautiful save.
Nice change of direction. At that point, Robinson was out extending, and the Chargers had the middle of the field all for themselves.
Tori Barron here getting into the action a little bit too late for Robinson at this point. Chantilly opened up with such a dominant lead that it was very hard for Robinson to come back from their halftime deficit.
Bracket
And here you see the final score, 13-4. Brittany Grau there with the 5 goals. Courtney Coleman, the big scoring player for Robinson, with 2 goals. And now we have highlights. Now we have interviews with some of the Chantilly players, Brittany Grau along with Michelle Gates.
Hi, I'm on the sideline here with 2 very happy women today. Brittany Grau, Coach Michelle Gates, new state champs, Chantilly Chargers. What a great effort today. Brittany, it looked like you did a great job setting up your left hand with some right-handed moves out there, and your left-handed shot is a killer anyhow. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that game?
To be honest, this is like an out-of-body experience right now. The amount of work that we've gone through to get here and to come to this point is unreal. That whole game, I've never been so proud of my teammates. That's the best, hands down, the best game I've ever seen any of them play. Every time gave it our all. It's just unbelievable, and I could never have done anything like my goals or anything, the awards, without them and without her, because I've never been so proud of them before.
Coach Gates, before the game, we talked a little about Groundhog Day. I think the clock turned. It's a whole new day, isn't it?
It's a whole new day with a whole new ending. And it feels good.
I thought you guys did a great job of redefending. Anytime Kelsey Zink made a save, she didn't have an outlet. She really took a lot more time than she wanted to get the ball out.
Yeah, we had a huge number of cross turnovers tonight, and that's actually part of what got us the game at the end.
Them not having the ball so much on offense is the reason why we did so well, and why our offense could do so well is because our defense answered them on every single turnover.
Your transition offense in that first half and your shooting really was excellent.
All things that we've been working on in the last week.
It all pays off.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for your time, ladies. Go celebrate with the team. Thanks a lot.
So we just heard a little bit there from Michelle Gates, and now we're delighted to be joined by her on the FSR hotline. Coach, can you hear us?
Yes, I sure can.
Well, Coach, I understand that you've been at a team dinner celebrating. Now that you've had a couple of days for it to sink in a little bit, what's the mood amongst the team, and how does it feel to just have attained the state championship?
The girls are still really, really excited. You know, they're even talking like, oh, did it really happen? Because they have to keep reminding themselves that they actually won it. Jim Caker, our principal, took both the girls soccer team and our team out to Outback for dinner to celebrate the state titles.
Now, Coach, before the game, we talked to you a little bit. We were trying to get a little of your strategy out of you, but you didn't tell us too much before the game. But one thing I noticed, the games I've seen in the past, Brittany was in the draw control circle. You had Norwood doing a lot of that. Was that one of the big changes you guys were looking at, and what motivated that?
Yeah, that was the big change. We decided to give Robinson a different look on the draw because they have a lot of success with Brittany taking the draw. And Casey was doing we tried it out at practice for a couple of days prior to the game, and we just did something different to throw Robinson off.
Coach, Dennis Stewart here. I also think one of the adjustments you made was to go right at the Robinson team early in that game. There was no hesitation. Your girls went right to the goal, made some great moves, and put the ball away.
Yes, definitely. And one of the other things that we practiced in the days beforehand was that we wanted more people involved on the attacking end. I know in our regional game we didn't have any of our attackers actually scoring, so we really worked on shot placement and aggressive movements to goal because we knew that Brittany and Stillwell and Liz Dunwoody would be occupied probably with their defenders.
Well, Coach, it definitely was effective. And again, after the game and during the game, we talked about how well you redefended and got back and took away Zink's outlets, and she really had to hesitate to clear the ball.
Yeah, that was really we kind of redesigned everything. We really wanted to ride them hard and stay marked because we knew that it would frustrate them if they couldn't clear the ball upfield.
Now, Coach, I know that I think in the first 10 minutes you guys had seven goals, which is definitely a lot against a team like Robinson. What was the talk amongst the coaching staff about just making sure that the girls stayed in it and kept the foot on the gas pedal?
When we were in the timeouts, we had to try to make sure the girls were focused on that they hadn't won the game yet because we knew that Allison would be pumping up her girls in their huddle. So we wanted to make sure that we stayed focused on what we needed to do and really just to continue to play hard. And we knew it was our last game of the season, so we really wanted to go out there and show them that we could finish.
I think one of the key things was when Robinson scored their first goal, you guys played super defense right after that, didn't let them get back in the game, didn't let them feel like they didn't get a run going. You took a run away from them by playing great defense.
Yeah, our defense was phenomenal. Actually, everybody on the field played so well that night, and I think that really is the culmination of what we've been working for. You know, we're lucky to have quite a bit of talent on our team, but I never really coach, put the ball in one person's hand because it's easy to shut down one girl. So if you spread it out amongst everybody and you play great defense and you have awesome transitions and your keeper steps up, then it's hard to beat a team like that.
Well, you definitely did all of those things. No question about that.
Yeah, it was nice to finally see it all come together.
Now, Coach, you've been talking a lot about this, but I even want to give you more of a chance to talk about some of these young ladies, particularly Erin and Kylie and some of the players who have not gotten all the publicity this year. But Erin, of course, got you guys off onto a great foot, and these players who did take some of the offensive burden in the beginning and certainly freed up players like Brittany and Liz and Katie. So if you just want to talk a little bit about those players individually and their style of play.
Yeah, Jessica Dennis, affectionately known as Jaden, really started kind of stepping it up towards the end of the season and realizing that she didn't really want to watch the team play, but she actually wanted to play. She kind of was our crease roll girl. Erin Robertson spoke about it, I guess, in one of the interviews, that she's really a straight across the 8 kind of player, and then Kylie just cleans up all the other mess that doesn't get in or go in. So they were capable of doing it, but I think they needed to see and feel confident while they were kind of going to goal. And definitely having Aaron score the first 2 goals of the game set the tone that it's not going to be about, only Brittany and Stillwell and Dunwoody.
Well, I think Brittany set the tone right after that. She had the next 3, Coach.
Yeah, well, absolutely. But she also had several assists. In fact, during the state tournament, she had more assists than she did goals, which says what kind of player she is. She'll be willing to dish it off to let somebody else go to goal.
I think that she plays, I thought she played going to the goal stronger than I'd ever seen her play during the season, where sometimes she was playing to feed.
Yeah, she last year definitely was her big scoring year. This year she had an unreasonable amount of assists, I think, on the season. She had a total of 60 assists, which
Wow.
is phenomenal for a high school player. And then Katie Stillwell had 40 assists, and Elizabeth had 20 assists on the season. So most of our goals, or at least half of our goals, were scored by assists. And Greil kind of went through a period where her shooting percentage went down pretty low, and I think just by she knew that assisting her teammates would be better at that moment, but then her shots thankfully came back on Sunday.
One of the things I've been impressed with every time I've watched you play is how good Katie Stillwell's hands are, how soft she is. She catches the tough ball.
Yes, she does. She's amazing. God, it's so hard to say goodbye to these girls as seniors. Just day in, day out at practice, always pushing each other to be better. But still, she's just mind blowing.
Where's Katie going next year?
William and Mary.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, congratulations. We are very happy for you and your team, the 2009 state champions.
Oh, thank you so much. It sounds so good still.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thanks, you guys. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, so of course a very happy Chantilly club. Now, Dennis, one thing we haven't mentioned yet, which to me did turn the tide a little bit too, was the injury to Rachel Moody. That was a devastating loss for Robinson. She barely played any minutes before
Right.
going down with that knee injury.
She tweaked it. Look, they were working on her MCL and her ACL, and it looked like maybe she was going to try and go back in. She just had no action on it. It looked like she kind of planted on it funny, and things like that happen.
Absolutely.
It's a shame, though.
So we certainly hope that she will be getting better and will certainly
Yes,
be back next year for
absolutely.
her senior year. So now we are going to take a look at the final Triple Edge girls lacrosse rankings for the year. Now you're not going to be surprised by who's number 1, Chantilly taking the top of the list.
And actually, to be honest, Chantilly was not a consensus number 1. Robinson did get a couple of votes, but they played each other 4 times. Chantilly won 2, Robinson won 2. And you feel good for those Chantilly girls. They've been in 6 championship games and hadn't won one yet. For them to finally get one is very nice for them. After that, the poll just filled out the same way. Woodson and Madison stayed 3 and 4. Westfield and Oakton 5, 6. Annandale at 7. Langley at 8. And Stonebridge and South County at 9 and 10.
All right, so now we have a very special segment for you. It's our season in review for girls lacrosse. I credit a lot of this to Coach Stewart. So Coach, first of all, one of the big stories of the season, the Concord District once again being very dominant.
Yeah, Flight of the Concords, we called it. Usual suspects come up big. That state championship game has been the 2 top teams in the Concord District year after year after year. And this year, there were 2 at the top. And I think that Chantilly and Robinson, if they played 10 times, it would come out 5 games apiece. The Region Defender of the Year, Sam Barber from Robinson. The Region Midfielder of the Year, Megan Dunleavy from Robinson. Brittany Greil, the region's only all-Met, first-team all-Met player. 8 all-Northern Region players. And Jim Dwyer, who we'll hear from later, is the Region Coach of the Year.
So the Concord District definitely coming up big, no surprise there, but the Liberty District also lots of good stuff going on in the Liberty. Madison up on the rise, and then of course Maggie Kovacs, a great story out of Langley, our Region Attack Player of the Year.
Right, Madison and Woodson were right, the 2 top teams were Chantilly and Robinson right there, and then Madison and Woodson right behind them, and Langley having a super year. The goalie of the year, Hope Longwell, out of that district from McLean High School. The Region Attack Player of the Year, Maggie Kovacs, who we've talked about many times, headed to Oregon in that district as well.
So great stuff from the Liberty District. Now also to talk a little bit about Westfield, because they were a team that I was exceptionally impressed with all year. Of course, they just were dealt with some disappointing blows, but they have to be very proud of their season.
If it was a horse race, I would have had to bet on Westfield with taking the odds, because that team, again, you see there, the only, during the regular season and the regional tournament, the only two teams they lost to were Robinson and Chantilly. Close games against all of them, overtime game against Robinson, and then a 16-22 loss in the state regional tournament to Madison.
All right, well, speaking of Westfield, I think we're joined on the phone now by Coach Dwyer. Coach, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Well, Coach, congratulations on a great season and also on being awarded the Coach of the Year honors for the Northern Region. That's an amazing honor to be voted on by the other coaches. How did it feel to get that award?
It felt great. Very honored. There's a lot of good coaches out there, and I appreciate and have a lot of respect for all of them.
Coach, you had some great goal scorers out there, starting with O'Sullivan. Why don't you talk a little bit about her?
4-year varsity player. She's the best I've ever coached. I think she was one of the tops in the region, if not the tops. She averaged 5 goals a game for us.
Wow.
Came up big in our first game against Robinson. She had 9 goals and 2 assists. And just, I talked to Allison, and even she was surprised. She said she didn't even notice that she got that many until she saw the scorebook. She's just a great player. We'll miss her, and I just love her.
And what is she doing next year?
She'll be playing at Colgate.
Awesome. Great. How about your other goal scorers? Who was up front scoring goals for you?
We had 2 juniors, Mary Berendis and Katie Sasick. Each had 34. And then Hannah Scott is a senior. She was injured in the beginning of the year and came on strong. She had 20 plus. And then Blair Duncan is a sophomore. She was our 5th scorer.
Will Hannah be playing next year in college?
No.
Okay.
She's probably going to play club. She's going to go to Baylor.
Baylor Bears, gotta love it.
Yep.
Coach, one thing when looking down through your schedule for the season and seeing the scores, there were only a couple of games. Every game, it was double-digit scoring for you guys, only a couple under 15 goals. What did you guys see from defenses all year that were trying to just shut down an offense that was so impressive?
A lot of double teams on Amanda, but, if we were struggling, we just had to make sure the girls were moving because she would get them the ball. She's an excellent passer. And then, it just opened up for everyone else.
So going into next year, how do you have, with those couple of juniors that are going to be big players, do you see the same kind of season for you next year?
I anticipate that, yeah. I always have high expectations. It's such a big school, and we have good feeder programs, so I have, between the JV and the varsity, I'll have 17 juniors coming back.
Wow.
Yeah.
And 10 seniors. And I had a freshman and 4 sophomores on the varsity this year. So it's going to be an interesting season if everybody does come back. And we have, like I said, I know 8 incoming freshmen from SYA.
That Southwest Youth, SYA, they do a great job with their youth lacrosse, don't they?
Yeah, and I know they had a B team that I'm supposedly getting some from there, and of course Chantilly Youth, I always get some from that. So the feeder programs are just awesome to have, experienced players coming into the JV program and even some to the varsity.
Girls lacrosse has really exploded in that youth area, hasn't it?
Yes, it has, and that's been great in this end of the county. Just this district is incredible, and talking to other coaches in the other districts, that's one thing I have, of course, is the numbers, and then we have such a great feeder program.
Well, Coach, congratulations on a great year. We're already looking forward to next year. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I am too.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, Coach Dwyer saw it all there. They were just a few steps away from having a Cinderella dream season.
Well, in the Concord District, always a tough one. Sounds like they are going to have a great team again next year and a great coach, as the region coach is recognized one of the finest.
They'll retool and they'll do well.
All right, well, one more story of the year for you. Yorktown, our national power. Dennis, 4 straight national district championships for the Patriots.
Undefeated over there. Those guys have rolled over there. Coach Robin Grunberger done a great job with their girls. And of course, Hope Barazzato. She's the player of the year in the district. She's player of the year in field hockey. This is a special player.
So there you have it once again for the 4th straight year. It is an all Northern Region state championship. The victors this year finally taking the crown away from Oakton. It's the Chantilly Chargers, Michelle Gates and her club. So our congratulations to them on an amazing state championship.
It was a great game, and 2 excellent teams out there, 2 excellent coaches. It was an awesome display of Northern Virginia, Concord District Lacrosse.
So now we are going to segue over into the Triple Edge Boys Lacrosse report, and we'll take you through everything that happened through the state tournament, just like we did with the girls. So as you see, what happened with our Northern Region teams in the state quarterfinals.
Langley took it to Brook Point pretty well. It was early on, it was a little bit close, but then Langley opened it up. Loudon Valley Broad Run, the big thing there was nobody could find the game. They moved the game from Loudon Valley to Broad Run. I got a phone call from Coach Brewer at Langley asking me where the game was because they couldn't find it. And Robinson had no problem with Salem there in their game. I was at the Robinson game, was sitting in the stands. I was waiting for a call from from down in Charlottesville for the score of the Albemarle Chantilly game. It was 9-8 Albemarle. Then it was 9-9. Game goes into overtime. Finally, Chantilly gets the game winner from Waters, and everybody went crazy and was really, really happy. It's tough to, for high school guys, it's tough to go on the road 2-3 hours. It's just a difficult thing because they don't do it very often.
And these Chantilly kids have ice in their veins. They had that nail biter against Woodson to even qualify, and then turn right around and have another one that has everyone on the edge of their seats.
We'll talk about that roll through there in a little bit.
Sorry, I'm spoiling what's going to happen later on in the show. So there you have the quarterfinals. Now we'll take you through the semifinals. A couple more great games. First of all, this Langley Broad Run game here. You see all the goal distribution scoring between the Langley players. 3 of those big names. We've seen those names all year long, Dennis.
Big game for the attack there. Ryan Ningard with 5 goals, Ethan Bailey with 4, and 4 goals for Kyle Ward from Broad Run, Tim Sanders with 3. Broad Run's got a couple of very good players, but they're just not deep enough to stay with a big-time team like Langley yet.
All right, so that was the first semifinal game. Now we'll show you the Northern Region team semifinal game. So here we have the Chantilly-Robinson matchup. This is a very good Robinson team, Dennis. We saw them in the Northern Region final. They had a heartbreaking loss there to Langley, and just another heartbreaker for a great team, great coach over there with Coach Fitzgerald.
Again, this was a weather game. This one took 2 days to play.
Right.
It was suspended at the end of the first half. It was 5-3 Chantilly. They came back the next night, finished it up. Difficult to keep your focus, difficult to keep your continuity in that situation. But Chantilly did a better job of it, win at 8-5. Kevin Egan, 2 goals for Chantilly. Joe Marston, 2 goals. Derek Kegaris having a super game, 10 saves for the Chargers. Robinson, Alex Barber, the freshman who really improved during the season with 2 goals. Chase Walton with 2. And Kevin in the goal for Robinson with 10 saves. He's really an underrated player. I think next year he's coming back as one of the top goalies in the region.
I think that's exactly right. Kegaris will be gone. The Langley goalkeeper, Cooney, will be gone. And so it will probably be his time to shine as one of the top goalkeepers in the region. He's definitely proven his case this year. And Dennis, I think you make a great point because Chantilly really came out strong on Thursday after the weather delay, about 22 hours worth of delay. And then those kids come out and they have to play again. Chantilly gets off on a great foot and just never turns back.
Super focused by the Chargers in that situation. And that was one of Robinson's weak points all season was consistency and the ability to carry it from one place to the other. And I think that got him a little bit with the delay and against the Chargers.
But as you said, Robinson is a team. It's just like Westville. They reload, get ready to play again. That great freshman with Barber, lots of great talent over there. So Justin Fitzgerald's team is going to be back next year, and I think they're going to be a standout team with Kevin in the goal.
That team's going to be very, very strong on defense with O'Meara and Keenan in a goal, and that's going to be a very good team.
So we've kept you in suspense long enough. So once again, an all Northern Region state championship matchup pitting Langley with Chantilly. We have some highlights from the event for you. These are two teams we've seen a lot of this year, Dennis.
Joey Burns scoring inside.
And then Chantilly answering very quickly.
Right out of the timeout, left-handed drive, good shot.
Jared Golden there, number 10.
You know, Chantilly went zone there. I think if they could do that all over again, they probably wouldn't have let Ningard have his hands free. Nice stop and go. It was called for in the crease. It was waved off. I'm not sure that was. I think that probably was a goal.
Alex Devlin there, number 35. We've seen a lot of him this year.
There's the goal that ties it up.
Mike Turpin, all-region Mike Turpin there with the tying goal. And then here it is, guys.
Overtime.
Alex Devlin there in the left side of your goal there, past Kegaris, one of the best goalkeepers in the region. An amazing shot by Alex Devlin.
Alex Devlin is a very disciplined, fundamental shooter. He's not trying to shoot the ball all over the place. He shoots it on the ground. He shot to the far side, made Kegs go make a save on that ball. The interesting thing about this game and their two games is they had 17 goals in two games by the two teams. 15 of them were scored by midfielders. Ryan Ningard scored one in this game. Ethan Bailey scored one in this game. All of Chantilly's goals came from midfielders and only 2 goals by attackmen.
And you've seen the Alex Devlin goal. Now you get to see my interview with Alex Devlin and Earl Brewer after the game. Standing here with our player of the game, Alex Devlin, and head coach Earl Brewer of the victorious Langley Saxons, the 2009 state men's lacrosse champions. Alex, you guys have achieved the trifecta this season. How does it feel to reach all of your goals?
I mean, this is great. This is one of the things, I mean, to reach all your goals, that rarely happens. And I'm never going to forget this. None of us are.
You had the game winner. I'm sure you'll never forget that shot. Take us through what was going through your mind.
I mean, I was dead tired, and I mean, the coaches said that we're going to go into a 1-4-1, and I can just take my guy one-on-one from the top. And I mean, I turned the corner on that guy, and I was just thinking, get a good shot off, and a good shot should go in.
Derek Kegaris, one of the best goalkeepers in the region, certainly tough competition back there. Can you talk a little bit about your team's offensive strategy today?
I mean, our offensive strategy was, I mean, we can't take shots from far out. We had to take smart, good shots and place them well, or else they had no chance of going in.
I've never seen crowd support quite like you guys have. Talk a little bit about your fans today.
I mean, this is awesome. They were behind us the whole time. They came out in force. And, I mean, it was great that they all came out to support us. This is history in the making right here for us.
And finally, talk to me about the hair. This is a lot of team solidarity here. What's going on with the mohawk?
I mean, we all did it as a team. I mean, there's a few mullets out there, but pretty much everyone has mohawks. We all did it as a team, and I think they look great. I think it helped us tonight.
Coach, you told me earlier this season this is a special team. Obviously, 3 championships. What are the things that make this team so special?
You know, Alex in his senior class, we were down a couple times this season in games. I think we were down one game 5-0, and we never quit. They're a great bunch of guys. I told them yesterday for our last practice, they came to practice every day and went to work. They didn't complain. They didn't, what do we got to do? They just did their work. And as a coach, that's all you can ask for. And I told them at the beginning of the season, if they worked really hard, good things will happen to us. Because I knew we had a lot of talent. And we did. We worked hard, and I mean, we achieved the ultimate goal. And I want to say to those kids tonight, that student body, just a heartfelt thank you. They were so loud and so crazy. We deserve this. Our school deserved this. We're not the biggest school in the world, but I was just so happy for our student body tonight. And there was a lot of teachers up there tonight, and a lot of Alex's buddies, and the senior class of 2009. They're going to go out on a high note here.
Well, Coach Alex, congratulations! A fantastic state championship for Langley High School.
But I think Alex's mohawk was a little off center. But it's a good look and do for Alex. I learned a long time ago when I was a young coach that big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games, and that's exactly what he's done this year. He's earned his All-American status, and he had an awesome season.
Absolutely, Alex Devlin, one of the best. And Dennis, I told you this before the show even started, that one of my favorite moments from that game is after the game when Robinson and Shafran have Earl Brewer up on their shoulders. It's just so apparent how much the young men on that team love and respect their coach.
Coach Brewer is one of the class guys in the game. I can't say enough about Earl Brewer.
And then as for Chantilly, too, I definitely want to give them their due because they are an amazing club. And what Kevin Broderick did with that team, we're going to talk a little bit more about them later on in this segment. But very impressed with Kevin Broderick's team.
Absolutely. I'm impressed with his staff. I'm impressed with his kids. I'm impressed the way he's like a CEO out there. He manages his staff. His staff works with the kids, and he coaches the kids. It's great to watch that. And nobody is better prepared for a game than Coach Broderick. He knows every tiny detail about where the shooter's going to shoot. Their goalies start to move to where he's going to shoot before he shoots. They're very, very well prepared.
All right, well, now we are going to turn to our final Triple Edge boys lacrosse rankings for the year. Going to be no surprise. Of course, Langley took that #1 spot from Chantilly and never turned back during the season.
And that was a consensus. They got every first place vote. Chantilly stepping over Robinson after their win. Woodson solid at 4. Madison solid at 5. Langley's only loss for the year to the Madison Warhawks. West Springfield at 6. Westfield at 7. Westfield really turning around their season late in the season, coming into their district tournament. Annandale right there. Oakton at 9, having a little bit of a down year. And the Bruins at 10.
And definitely give that Woodson team their due because that 6-5 double overtime game with Chantilly, one little thing being different, they would have been the team in the state championship series. So that Woodson team was an amazing team. John Fitzgerald, a great coach.
Paul Tunick, an outstanding attackman for that team. They've got some good young defensemen coming back too.
Well, just like we did for the girls, we have our boys lacrosse season in review stories for you. So Dennis, again, I'll let you do the honors here, but the song remains the same. Lots of the traditional powers still being exceptionally strong.
Right, the big 5, they refer to it: Robinson, Langley, usually a team out west, in this case Westfield, and Woodson. Chantilly, a newcomer into that the last couple of years, but they're not going anywhere. They're going to be there in the big 5 now. Herndon and Madison and West Springfield having surprisingly good years on an upswing. Oakton, one of the traditional powers, a little bit down this year, but Coach will have the Cougars back in this next year.
All right, well, moving on with our stories of the year here. Langley was the Destiny's team. As Earl Brewer said repeatedly, they were a special club. They win the trifecta, the Liberty District, the Northern Region, and the state championship. And just the athletes on that team, Dennis, it's amazing to see the talent that Earl Brewer had.
There are some pretty special players out there, and they've all done a super job. They're deep enough that anybody can hurt you, and on defense, they're big, they're strong, they're fast, and they come at you. And of course, Galen Cooney doing a super job in the goal all year. This team, this is the first time they've won the region championship. It's the first time they've won the state championship. Coach Brewer's been there 15 years. Nobody's worked harder for a state championship over the years than Coach Brewer. They had 4 players make first team all region, and of course Alex Devlin makes All-American.
And Earl Brewer gets that All-Met recognition as
yes,
the All-Met
It's
Coach
been a long
of the Year.
time. It's been a long time since a Northern Region coach has won the All-Met Coach of the Year. It's only happened twice before in 20 years. So that's a pretty prestigious honor for Coach Brewer.
And then, of course, we definitely want to talk a little bit about the other team in the final because Chantilly lost all 16 of those seniors, Dennis, and it looks like they never missed a beat.
Right here, Chargers change, charge to the final. A little bit of alliteration goes a long way. That team was undefeated last year, offensive powerhouse. They turned the team around this year. It's a defensive-focused team. They play super defense. Gambos out there, Meeson out there. They do a great job on defense against you. And Kegaris, the bottom line, the anchor of that team. And this team had a tough road to hoe to get there. To get to they won their district championship in overtime, double overtime against Westfield. They beat Woodson 6-5 in double overtime to advance to the states. Overtime game against Albemarle, and of course an overtime state championship game. And Coach Broderick, Coach of the Year, deserved every bit of that.
All right, and then of course the rise of the Liberty, lots of Liberty District teams making their mark on the region this year. You see Langley, Madison, Woodson, Stonebridge, 11 all-region first-team players, and then finally lots of rookie coaches really making their mark on the region. Lots of great new faces.
Yeah, Coach Hodge at Madison, Scott Setter at West Springfield, Brian Dilly at Westfield, all did a super job.
All right, well that is our Triple Edge Lacrosse Boys Lacrosse Report. Dennis, thanks so much for joining us all year. You have been a great guest to have every week.
This has been a pleasure. I really love coming in. I love talking about the lacrosse, and I hope all the people enjoy it. Thanks a lot.
All right, well, we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to tell you everything that happened with soccer this past weekend. Welcome back to the Fairfax Sports Report. So we finished with lacrosse, but lots of great boys soccer action going on this past weekend. We'll show you what happened in the state quarterfinals. A couple of our teams participating. You see there Hickory playing a tough Patrick Henry team in their home environment. So that was a big win for the Hickory Hawks. Robinson losing a very disappointing loss to Mills Godwin 4-2 in penalty kicks. Hawks, they have quite an arsenal, so I think that says a lot about the Garfield defense there with that 1-0 score. And then finally, Westfield coming out the victors over Cosby 1-0. And then going into the semifinals, we were there for the Westfield matchup. First of all, we want to talk about this one. We have some highlights for you. The big story from that game was that Sean Mernon did not play. He injured his meniscus during the Cosby win. There you see Cox getting off to a huge start straight away with Hunter Burns there, and then Paul Bronstein scoring the next goal. So lots of goal scoring going on quickly for Cox. Two great goalkeepers getting a lot of work early on in that matchup. But as I said, Sean Mernon did not play. Tom Torres said frequently that they were one bazooka down and they were playing against an arsenal because this Cox team was just so strong. They had so many different weapons, and Westfield used to playing with Sean Mernon. Irvin Herrera also having a great season this year for the Bulldogs, but just too much to handle. There you see another great goal there from Cox. Lots of great goal scoring, a 4-0 final score, so as you'll see, but some nice saves as well. I can't say enough good things about Cody Palmer, the Westfield goalkeeper, because he really got a workout during this matchup that you're seeing here and was very impressed with him. There you see the final there, and Burns, Bronstein, and the 2 goals by Martin. A disappointing loss for Westfield, but you remember how many seniors they lost off of last year's team, so it's just such an exceptional thing for Tom Torres and his team to advance to that state semifinal. Of course, we wish all the best to Sean Mernon. Hopefully that knee will heal up. He will be playing for Virginia next year. He's had a great career here in the Northern region. So that was the first semifinal matchup. Now we're going to take you to the second one, and this was an exceptionally physical game. I was just, watching all over the place, these players falling down all over, but Hickory taking on Mills Godwin. Mills Godwin in the red, Hickory in the white. Mills Godwin doing a great job early on, as you see there. Lots of opportunities, and there you see Hickory in the white, that one going just a little long. Mills Godwin has a great goalkeeper in Jack Van Arsdale. He is going on to play at VCU next year, did a great job. And then Andrew McMillan for the Hawks. Their coach, Eric Blackstone, told me a great story about him. There you see Van Arsdale coming out of the goal to make a beautiful save. But anyway, he told me that he recruited his goalkeeper out of gym class during 9th grade. He saw him and he knew that he would be a great asset to the team. And there you see Andrew McMillan and why such a good player for Mills Godwin. So this one a bit of a more low-scoring affair than the Westfield game. Mills Godwin having lots of opportunities. And then another opportunity there, but you see that one going wide there, and just the disappointment on the face of the Mills Godwin player because, as I said, not a very high-scoring game. Lots of minutes elapsed before anything was put up on the scoreboard. And a lot of that has to be credited to the goalkeepers. You keep seeing those saves. The 2 goals, Brian Clark in the 63rd minute, and then Valery Swiderski got injured in the first half, came back and scored that big goal. So a 2-0 win for Mills Godwin. I got to talk with Herb Mudrake and Brian Clark after the game and to hear a little about their thoughts.
I'm standing here with our player of the game, Brian Clark, and head coach Herb Mudrake. Brian, you had the first goal of the game. Take us through it.
Well, we attacked on the left side and basically what happened was we had our forward beat both their defense. He was wide, so he slotted the ball across. I was hanging back, and I just came right to me, and I slotted it far post.
It was a physical game. Talk a little bit about what it was like to play out there.
It definitely was. There was a lot of yellow cards, and basically you just had to keep the intensity up, go physical at them. Didn't want them to get all the physical play in, so you definitely just want to match their intensity and just keep going.
Coach, another player that had a great game was Valeri, a goal and assist. Can you talk about his effort?
Yeah, Valeri's a freshman, and he's going to be a special player by the time he's done. He just brings so much speed, and we can change up our attack so much. What he brings to the table, it's just we don't have anybody else that can do that.
Well, Coach Brian, congratulations. Great effort today. Good luck tomorrow.
So those two semifinal games set up a date between Cox and Mills Godwin for the state championship. We'll show you what happened in that one. Both of those teams, of course, had very physically challenging games, so a little fatigue early on. There you see a nice cross in front of the middle of the goal to get Cox on the scoreboard first, but then a big development happened. A Mills Godwin player got a red card. He was ejected from the game. Chris Albiston, Cox playing a man down. Mills Godwin gets a quick score after that point from Valeri Swiderski. Now you see those goalkeepers again. That's Van Arsdale from Mills Godwin making some great saves there. As I said, he's going on to VCU. Nice defense there from Cox, getting a great effort from the back line, and then that one an own goal there. So you see Burns, Swiderski, Harrison, Harris, Van Arsdale, a lot of the stars from that game. And Harris, one of the best. We have a great interview now with him and first-year head coach R. Scott Mead.
I'm standing here with our player of the game, Jonathan Harris, and head coach Scott Mead of the victorious Cox High School state champions. Jonathan, how does it feel?
It feels great, state champs, baby.
Now, after your team scored the winning goal, you had to play very strong defense back there. Can you talk a little bit about your defensive line and your work in the goal after you guys scored your second goal?
Yeah, I feel like we definitely have one of the best defenses in the states. Our two center backs, they're like all-stars. I mean, we couldn't have done it without them. They're amazing.
Now, Coach, after the foul call, of course, your team playing a little down. Can you talk about their composure and able to come out with this win?
We talked at halftime, and at halftime there was no change. We said, hey, we can dominate, we can play. We're not playing for a tie, we're not playing for overtime, we're not playing for PKs, we're playing to win the game. And most of the adjustments were made by the boys. The boys worked at a level I've never seen a team work. For the last two matches, they've worked amazing.
Coach, you're a first-year head coach. How does it feel, and how do you top this year?
We were all talking last night, and there's only one place to go from here, and I guess that's down or back-to-back. So that'll be next year's goal. We started the season with the goals of district champion, region champion, and state champion, and the only people that believed we were doing that were right here on the field with us today.
Well, congratulations.
So Cox, of course, a traditional powerhouse winning, and there you see our final soccer rankings. Westfield up on top, Yorktown and Jefferson making it to the region semifinals, and South County a great season. So now we will segue into the girls soccer state championship tournament. Great quarterfinal action that went on, disrupted a little bit by the weather. Kempsville really had their game disrupted, having to stay overnight in a hotel unplanned before getting their win over Riverbend. Chantilly with the 1 goal over Atlee, Cox defeating Forest Park, and then Mills Godwin upsetting Oakton. The young Cougars will certainly be back next year at full force. So now let's take you to some of these state semifinal games. First of all, Chantilly played Kempsville in the opening game of the day. Chantilly came out firing strong early on. There you see Katie Menzie with the corner kick. She handles all the set pieces, and Katie Lape getting a workout back in the goal. A very impressive goalkeeper. Really could make saves using her hands, her feet, her head, anything she has to. But there you see Chantilly capitalizing. Portland Bristol and Olivia Colello right there, number 19, the freshman. Katie Menzie taking a nice shot there, and you're going to see lots of Katie Lape. That's Lauren Jankuska back there in the orange jersey for Chantilly. Didn't get to get that much of a workout. Her defense protected her very well. Instead, it was again Katie Lape doing lots of hard work, but her team just not able to capitalize and get in on the scoreboard. Several opportunities there, that one going long. Jankuska doing a very nice job there of cutting off the angle, and Chantilly coming out with the 3-0 win. Those goals scored in the first 15 minutes, and then again Katie Lape with the 17 saves. Now in the second semifinal game, we'll get to that in just a minute, but want to show you an interview with Melissa Bibby and Cortland Bristol right after that one.
Chantilly head coach Melissa Bibby and our player of the game, Cortland Bristol. Coach, I'll start with you first. How would you rate your team's overall performance today?
Well, I thought it was one of our best games of the season, at least in the first half. We just kind of put everything together, and we controlled the midfield, and we went at them fast, and we took a lot of shots, which was our goal. So it was one of our top games this season.
Now you have a quick turnaround with the game tomorrow. How do you keep your team's nerves down? How do you get any research done with the team that you're going to be playing?
Well, obviously we're going to stay and watch the Cox Godwin game and see who we play. But, you know, nerve-wise, I think we're kind of past that by now. We've had a lot of big games this season. So, you know, state finals is just another big game, and I've got good senior leaders, and we've been pretty calm coming into most of the games, so I don't think it'll be a problem.
Coach, congratulations. Cortland, 3 quick goals today. What worked well that first 30 minutes for you?
Personally, I think it was our energy all together. Our warm-up was great, warmed up as a team, and we wanted it. We played like we wanted it, so we got it done.
How big of an advantage is it to play here at Westfield? I mean, your school's right down the road. Several players have played on this field numerous times. I mean, you know the field. How big is that?
Well, compared to our field, it's way bigger, almost double, I would say. But, I mean, we played well. We did what we had to do. We got it done. Good.
Cortland, congratulations.
So that was the first semifinal game. Now we're going to take you to the second one, which was Cox versus Mills Godwin. Mills Godwin considered to be the underdog there. You see them getting a corner, and Ellen Upton getting the ball off her shin into the goal to start out the scoring for her team. It was a huge turn of events. Mills Godwin getting on the board. First of all, that gave them a lot of momentum. And there you see the other play there. Becca Hazlett takes a kick from quite far out, slips through the hands of the goalkeeper, giving Mills Godwin the 2-0 win. So a disappointing day there for Mills Godwin. Rachel King having a bit of the worst of it. Jessie Ashworth, on the other hand, the Mills Godwin goalie, having a good day in goal. There you see Rachel King getting lots of action back there on the back with the Mills Godwin players really pushing it at her. And then the Mills Godwin defense, that was the one goal there that you just saw by Jessie Clement. But the Mills Godwin defense, the red curtain, having a very big day. So this sets up our date between Chantilly and Mills Godwin in the final. So we are going to take you there so you can see what happened. Here it starts off Chantilly in the white, Godwin in the red. Chantilly picking up right where they left off from their semifinal matchup with Kempsville. Katie Menzie taking the kick, number 6 there into the left of the goal. Chantilly firing early and often. Just a very impressive effort. Jessie Ashworth there, the goalkeeper for Godwin, getting much more of a workout. Jan Kusko with a beautiful punch save right there. And Menzie, once again, every time you see a corner, it's going to be Katie Menzie. She's the Thunder, Bristol's the Lightning, as Coach Bibby likes to say. And there you see the goal from Chantilly. Again, Chantilly breaking out to quite a lead, giving themselves a little bit of a cushion. Mills Godwin still trying to get on the board, trying to battle this Chantilly team that just likes to fire and fire away. They were so impressive offensively. There you see the one goal there. And then Chantilly again, never ever letting up. Bristol wanting another goal. Godwin getting a little lucky there, bouncing around. Finally a save by the goalkeeper. But Chantilly, all the players were looking to capitalize as much as they could. Colella getting a goal, Kreider getting a goal. Chantilly, they are your 2009 state champions. Melissa Bibby and Katie Menzie, our player of the game.
Player of the game, Katie Menzie and Melissa Bibby, the head coach. 2009 Virginia State champions. Katie, you started off the scoring with a beautiful goal. Can you take us through the goal that you scored?
Well, I had so much adrenaline at that point, and I saw the ball come out, and I think it took a deflection, and it ended up going in the back of the net, and it was awesome.
Had several more opportunities. It very much appeared to me in the second half that you were just going to keep taking them. You were trying to get another one. What was going through your mind during the second half?
Well, get another, because as we saw, they came back and they put another one in and made it close. So I was just doing everything I could to put one in the back of the net. I was just taking shots, shoot, just.
Concord District champions, Northern Region champions, state champions. How does it feel?
Feels so good. Go out as a senior, and our team's great. And I'm proud of them. I'm just so.
Well, Coach, this has been a banner year for your program. I just want to give you a chance to talk about how your team came out today and just dominated.
Well, I really don't know what to say. They've been incredible the whole season, and today was nothing different. My seniors dominated, and they've just been incredible. And we're definitely going to miss our seniors, all 7 of them. But I felt good yesterday, and I felt good this morning, and everything paid off in the end. So.
Your team gave Jessie Ashworth everything she could handle back there, just peppering her with shots. Can you talk a little bit about all the shots on goal that you had?
Well, I mean, we have a very strong offensive team, and we have people that can shoot the ball, not just 2-3 players, but like pretty much every one of our midfielders and forwards. And our goal this week in practice was to get as many shots as possible and just make her work. And we did that. She had some really good saves. We put 2 good goals in, and it's all the credit in the world to all these kids that work so hard all the time and put up with us riding their butts all the time, and they did it all. So I'm really proud of them.
Well, I just heard Katie say well worth it. I'm sure. Congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
There you have it, Chantilly, your state champions. You see the stats there. Chantilly having a dream season, just like Langley, winning the Concord District Championship, the Northern Region Championship, and the state championship. They won their last 12 games. Congratulations to them. Finally, we'll have our last rankings of the year with Chantilly on top, followed by Oakton, West Springfield, McLean, and Robinson. Thanks so much for joining us. Once again, we want to thank our folks that help make our program possible, our good friends at CCI Screen Printing. And there you have it there, along with you can get copies of our episodes at Pressbox Video. Special thanks to Triple Edge Lacrosse for your endless summer of lacrosse. Don't forget to keep checking out our website throughout the summer in our Video Vault feature. You can become a fan of the Fairfax Sports Network and send us news, notes, and story ideas. Again, thanks so much for joining us.